there is a role called growth. ठीक है, अब ऐसी बात है कि growth is a very new role in India, but growth is a very famous role in Silicon Valley. There is 20%, 30% industry fraud that happens here. The blame is not on affiliates. The blame is on the dark web industry. When you start aging, you have more responsibilities and more baggages. You will not have the luxury of renting out your time.
Hello, VO family, and welcome to the 5th episode of our podcast series. In this one, I talk to Sindhu, who has worked with various startups and media companies to help them grow using techniques we can't even think about. We dive into the secrets brands and creators use to grow themselves, what they do to trick our minds, and the scams in the industry that we don't even know about. But before we go ahead, don't forget to subscribe to our channel with the notification bell on so that you can stay updated on our latest videos. Now, let's just jump into it. So today, we have Mr. Sindhu.
Just Sindhu.
So, Sindhu, how, like I asked you before, I want to ask you again, how do you describe yourself?
Digital marketer first, content creator second.
Okay.
It can flip it anytime. It may be after some days, some years, content creator first, digital marketer second, maybe.
That's where you're heading, I'm guessing. Content creation is your... it's something that you're really passionate or you're moving towards, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I have a very, very radical opinion. I don't think you are a marketer if you're not a content creator or if you don't understand content.
Exactly.
Technical people will be obsolete.
Correct.
AI is will kill everyone. Especially in marketing, AI will just replace everything.
Interesting. So, the brands that you've worked with are insane, right? You have been in the media space, I'm guessing, since the beginning of your career, I would say.
Yeah, that consumer internet is the right technical word that people say, but
Right.
yes, you can say.
So what did you start your career with?
During my BBA, I did not go to college. I was working in a local record label.
Oh, interesting.
It is acquired by Z Music, and I started with mixing mastering, which is the technical side of sound engineering. Then did a bunch of songwriting. Then
Are
did
you
a
a sound
bunch
engineer?
of yes.
By experience.
Partial, but मतलब touch छूट गया है. मतलब I don't even remember basic stuff. I might be knowing VSTs क्या है and all, but basic stuff. But I'm pro songwriter and composer. Like I think that part of skill is my core strength.
Interesting.
I did think that I should be doing it as a profession. I was getting paid for that. My first payment was 500 rupees for just a song.
Nice.
But I just realized that, okay, I like it as a hobby. I don't want to make it a profession. Because the fun fact, the beauty for which you loved the art it was getting diluted. That was the reason. So then I did my MBA in media management to learn programming. And so basically programming is news channel चलते हैं ना, तो वो programming कैसे होती है, live broadcast programming, ठीक है.
Got it.
तो थोड़ा बहुत training उस सब का लिया था and everything, but again everyone was moving towards online, and I started digital marketing career that time. Started my journey with becoming a founding member of a social networking app.
Right.
So social networking app is under media only.
Correct.
I was doing everything there,
Okay.
from marketing, business development and everything. Then joined PTM Insider, was handling events category, sports category and movies category. Again events, again media, but the marketing and business side of the media.
Okay.
Then a breakthrough happened. Then I joined Pocket Aces, which is the parent company of Filtercopy, Dice Media, Gobble.
Right.
A lot of people don't know because they don't want to brand themselves like that. Ki,
Correct.
okay, and that's the challenging part actually. Like you know TV, you know being Indian, but you don't know Culture Machine. Culture Machine is the parent company. Exactly. So there was a time Culture Machine had to like every time write Culture Machine, buy Culture Machine. That's the weird part of brand hierarchy, they call it. Did that, and then I moved from media, and there is a interesting story why I moved. But after that, I moved away from media.
Okay, we'll get into that. So you're basically a growth guy.
Yes,
You were in growth for content. Now you're in growth of apps.
Correct.
So
have been dwelling around both.
Since right? So I'll go into the micros later, but I want to know what is the most. I'm sure, I don't know if I'm guessing it shouldn't be a problem, but what is the most unethical thing you've done for any growth, any sort of growth that you've done?
A lot actually. I would say.
And one instance that stands out to you.
A client wanting YouTube views, thinking organic views will come, running ads and showing that the channel can give you views, and it's a classic thing that everyone does. It's a super classic thing.
Correct.
Like what happens is, let's say, and I don't blame the creators. The problem is this: let's say you're a creator, you have a YouTube channel, you have an average 1 million view. The moment you do a branded content, it will be 50,000 or 100K view.
Correct.
but you have promised the brand that, hey, I have to do 1 million. Then the deficit you have to cover with Google AdWords cost and everything.
Right.
I feel that is unethical. The reason is this, that, okay, I have sold the brand from a different perspective. But yes, but I'm a very ethical kind of person. The day I see that the product is mis-selling or the product is saying something else and doing something else, I will leave. Because we are the front runners of that.
Correct. Your face is attached to it. Your
my face is
brand
attached to it, but there is a big power. Like, for an example, the person who is running Google ads and Facebook ads is just one person who can manipulate and change the perception of millions of people. So there is a lot of power in this particular job role or whatever.
Correct.
I can't take it for granted. I just can't take it for granted.
That's true. Have you ever dealt with bot farms? Wherein
Yes.
Bangladesh, Pakistan, all of these places have like farms for views and stuff.
Yeah.
How do those work? Do you have any idea?
Okay, I'll just give you. So what happens is, in marketing domain, there is your digital marketing. Digital marketing ke andar, there are multiple types of digital marketing. One is called SEM, which is also called performance marketing.
Right.
Now we are performance marketers. What does a performance marketer do? Performance marketer runs ads on Google Ads, which you see on YouTube, blogs and everything. Then you do Facebook ads and everything. The ads, there are some ads you will see that you go to Times of India, and then Times of India ke niche you will see some random blogs articles which are no relation with Upar ka. That part of the world is called affiliates.
Right.
Affiliates and programmatic. That is a huge industry chain. There is 20%, 30% industry fraud that happens here. The blame is not on affiliates. The blame is on the dark web industry. So that industry is called fraud.
Okay.
There are fraud detection tools also.
Okay.
I will not tell the technical names. Those are called MMPs and all.
Right.
Companies invest in fraud detection tools because bare minimum, whatever you do, let's say you are paying, you are doing a 1 crore marketing budget. Aram se 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs has gone to a bot company that you are not aware of. So with time and with years of experience, you also get skilled, okay, how to catch a bot. You can catch a bot actually.
Okay.
But people are very, very advanced. Like, for an example, previous times, there is a terminology called as click farm.
Okay.
Now, click farm is in Bangladesh. It's very famous. And in TV, in some movies, they have also shown the click farms.
Correct.
Now, primarily what happens is there are 200, 300 people just clicking on your ads. And to the brand, it shows that, hey, there is something called CPC, cost per click. And the brand charges ki, okay, the click has happened.
The CPC is very low.
The CPC is very low. The clicks has happened. You get money out of that. But what happens after click? Let's say after click, install happens. After install, account creation happens. After account creation, let's say, those are called mid funnels. Let's say purchase happens. One fine day, you will wake up and you will see 1 lakh clicks, 100 installs. You for sure know these are bots. Then you go ahead and fight with the affiliate that, hey, I know this is a fraud. Yeah, I will not pay you for that. I will only pay for the 100 installs and everything. This was happening 2 years back. This year, specifically this year, the major challenge for marketers is, I don't know how these people are cracking. The bots have figured out a way to give clicks on the purchase inside the app also.
Oh.
I don't know how. I just don't know how.
Okay.
Still figuring it out, trying to learn that. The numbers are less. Like you will get 10% click bots, but here you will get, let's say, 0.1%, but it still happens. I still don't know how it happens, but it's a huge industry.
Interesting. Okay. So, when you were working in the media, I'll get to the apps part later, but when you were working in the media industry, the major one was Diced Media, which was Filtercopy.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
What did you do there exactly? And like, what was it like working in, because when they started, which year were you there?
I was 2018 to 2020 or 2019 half. Like
right.
that.
And that time the media space was picking up, online media space in India was picking up. I would say.
So when I joined, okay, I'll just tell you the small story actually about that. There was an era where there was a company called Witty Feed, which went to the founders went to the Shark
Correct,
Tank.
We
and
covered their story as well.
Stage founders.
Stage, yes.
I know the founders pretty well. Very, very, like, I don't know if that happens with me. Main kya karunga? It's a very sad story. Witty Feed and Filtercopy and BuzzFeed were the companies which started by doing article writing, because Facebook algorithm was pushing that. You remember Facebook mein, articles aate the where you used to written 10 places you should visit before you die.
Correct.
But if your boyfriend does this, then you should be doing that. Those are articles. Facebook was pushing that. Right now you can't do, because platforms decrease the rate if you're putting out an external link. That time they were pushing that. Filtercopy was doing the same thing. Wittyfeed was doing the same thing. However, Wittyfeed was pretty large. They started with that. Then the platform shifted. Facebook started penalizing if you are putting out an external link. Then there was an evolution of Instagram page, and Filtercopy moved towards an era where they used to call it rapid content creation. Okay, the whole, and by the way, there are your social media agencies who used to say ki hafte mein ek post you should be doing. Filtercopy said screw it, we will do 1 post per day. Now they do 6 posts per day. So they said ki okay, I don't think that it makes any sense, let's just test it out and see. And the idea was I have to democratize the content creation mechanism. What does it mean? Let's say if I have one editor, one script writer, and one this. One, the timelines will be longer. Let's say if I get one person who can do everything, pay him higher or her higher, and say, okay, create content, put it out. No permission needed from social media manager. No permission needed from social media head, because the problem is brand guidelines has this thing, okay, you will create content, it will go up. Someone will approve the copy, someone will
and that's a long, lengthy process.
That's a pretty lengthy process, and humans are involved. Someone is on leave, it will take a longer time.
And creativity is also subjective. Kisi ko acha laga, kisi ko acha nahi laga.
Like how do you convince someone ki okay, I have put emoji here after the text, and the other person says no, it should be coming at first.
And you know what, honestly, because I'm like, this is social media business for me as well, right? A lot of the micro things that we talk about ki yaar, just move the text a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left, has a big impact. Huge. We know that. But then when someone like the viewer that will be listening, when they hear all of this, they're like, yaar ye kya
hai? Right. That's how Filtercopy Copy's founders came with an existing that hey, content creation does not have power. The power is in distribution. And so I remember my conversation with the founders, and he was like, if you have a problem with cringe content or whatever, don't complain. If you genuinely care about it, build a distribution, try to challenge the market. That's it. And what he was saying is this: anyone having distribution, good distribution, can push any content because they have the power.
Correct.
The idea is to scale a channel is not doing what you want. That's the anti-philosophy of saying, so what do? People leave profession by saying, I will do what I want.
Correct.
But the game is not doing what you want. The game is what the market wants. So you start doing what market wants, build a channel, and then you can do what you want, because there are audience to check out your content. Pehla wala content mein kuch jaake randomly dalunga, no one is able to understand very hi-fi shots me talking about, and then no one is listening. Audience nahi hai to main content kyun bana raha hu? That's the point. Filtercopy was attacking that. We will build a data analytics company. We are a data company primarily.
Okay.
And content company second. That's the core thesis of Filter, Dice Media and every.
So just to give the audience a background, can you tell about the sort of celebrities or influencers that Dice Media actually were involved with?
So Dice Media's very famous property, if audience can relate, is Little Things. Little Things is on Netflix. On Netflix.
Which is Mithali and
Dhruv.
And both of them you had mentioned.
Mithila Palkar, yeah. Mithila and
yeah. And both of their stories you were talking about as well.
Yeah, they were like Dhruv was a writer. He was writing regular shows
in Dice
Media. He never thought कि okay, he'll be an actor. Right now also, if you check Dhruv's के podcast, he says I hate acting. मतलब नाम बन गया है तो मैं कर रहा हूँ. That's a different thing. But he's a solid writer, by the way, and he reads a lot.
Right.
And Dhruv has a very strong baritone. Have you heard his voice?
Yeah, of course.
Very strong baritone. मुझे लगता है.
मुझे
डर लगा. काफी intimidating voice he has and everything. But yeah, they were full time working around and everything. And then this thing happened as a project. So Little Things was on YouTube. It became hit. And then Netflix eyes came, and then the deal happened.
Hit, you mean it got a lot of views and it got
a lot of views. I don't remember numbers that time because I have a funny story. I had no idea what is Little Things.
Okay.
Before my interview, on my interview date is the day I heard about Filtercopy and Dice Media. I had no idea what they are. Yeah, that's a very.
Were you not watching YouTube or something?
I think no. I was still in that music zone.
Okay,
Yeah, I was
okay.
still in that music
Got
zone.
it, got
I was
it.
spending a lot of time on Jio Savan or Savan, whatever the deal was
Right,
that time.
right. Jio hadn't acquired Sawan by back then.
हाँ तो Savan and all. No, I was not a YouTube watcher. हाँ, actually, I was not watching YouTube a long time. I started this behavior of watching all the web series and everything in Dice Media as my job.
As your
actually,
job.
as my job. I was watching like at the peak time in that COVID. I was watching 6-7 episodes per day because my watching style is different. I have to make notes.
Correct. Okay.
So I have to. So there is something called emotion graph in some companies use that.
Okay.
That is nothing but you watch a 5-minute content. You break down those content, 30 seconds content, first minute, second minute, third minute. You try to make emotion. Ki, okay, first 30 second mein which emotion they are evoking. When is the punchline coming? You do an analysis of Tanmay Bhatt, you will see a pattern. Ki punchline koi to ek time duration pe aa raha hai where it is hitting.
And that is the edits. That's how the edits are done.
That is the edits, but it is always the creator who is giving the brief. It is always the editor.
Interesting.
It is not random. It is not random.
So you're saying there is a science behind how all of these.
Correct. You watched Honestly by Tanmay Bhatt, where he the neuroscience of joke or something.
Okay.
With Sid Warrior. पूरा बोला हुआ है उसने. पूरा बोला हुआ है. Punch ups, punch down में क्यों attack होता है. How do you craft a setup and how do you drop it down. There is a method. There is a method.
हम us as a viewer are just like कि यार ये तो मतलब हाँ stage में जाके joke.
इसीलिए not everyone should be a content creator. Simple है. बहुत वैसे भी fight है.
Correct.
हाँ, I think मतलब that's how you are separated. ना, like for an example, let's say Karan Johar does not make the kind of movie that you think he should be making for Netflix, but he makes more revenue. तो उसको बिजनेस मॉडल सही से पता है. रोहित शेट्टी नोज बिजनेस मॉडल कि अच्छा ये फॉर्मूला है. रोहित शेट्टी का क्लियर फॉर्मूला यू विल ऑलवेज सी. मल्टी स्टारर दिस एंट्री करो, ये पैसा निकालो, खत्म.
Correct.
अक्षय कुमार हैज अ सिमिलर मॉडल कि अच्छा वॉल्यूम बढ़ा दो एंड एवरीवन. So everyone is playing a different game. So either you are a content first or you are a distribution first. You decide. So TVF is a very content creation wala company. Like you will love the creatives they do.
Right.
Pocket Aces is a very solid distribution wala company.
Got it.
But every company has a basic thesis and philosophy that they follow. Every company and every creator actually. Every creator.
Interesting.
अभी रणवीर अलाहाबादिया का एक पैटर्न नोटिस करोगे. ये नोटिस किया. डू यू फॉलो हिम?
No, yeah, sort of, yeah.
I used to follow him for the content, not exactly content, the guest.
Right.
I would say.
Right.
Because उसी के लिए तो देख रहे हैं actually. But one interesting pattern I saw, you notice किया है that he started increasing the volume of that cult Bhutiya stories and all.
Yes.
Notice किया है?
Yes, of
Spike
course.
किया है.
Of course.
That is getting the more views.
Of course.
He can syndicate that to a Kuku FM or a Pocket FM or sell it to a Radio FM. Radio FM वाले आपका ये वाला नहीं खरीदेंगे ना. Let's say you are talking about a war, the Kargil war people and all. 1 घंटा कौन सुन रहा है रेडियो पे उसको. बट आप भूतिया उनको बेच सकते हो. So my at least perspective is one, he knows कि
He is preparing the product to be sold to.
He is preparing the product to be sold. Second, that gets you distribution. Simple. मतलब आपको लगे cringe, दूर की बात है.
But as long as you're getting views.
Simple.
And that's the fundamental reasoning behind like people who are just following trends getting popular as well.
Correct.
As a viewer, you will be like कि यार ये क्या cringe
क्या
चल
कर
रहा है.
Correct.
But then they are at the end of the day getting their distribution and monetizing it.
I think cringe is a very very wrong word. देखो cringe का word ना किसी को पता नहीं था. ठीक है. ये TikTok के time पे people started saying कि cringe and hence everyone ये terminology में आ गया है.
Correct.
I don't feel any content is cringe. I feel that either the content is relevant or irrelevant. That's it.
Right.
And the relevancy is only subjective. It is not mass irrelevancy or relevancy. And content का ऐसा है ना, there is always an audience for every kind of content.
Correct.
You have to just reach that content. Don't make for masses. कुछ issue नहीं है.
Correct.
So I have stopped hating on content creators because I know for a fact that they must be having a different subjective view. Like let's say, why are you doing this? If I ask you, you must be having a subjective view. I may not agree. Let's say, but you know कि okay ये मेरा audience है, मैं इसके लिए कर रहा हूँ. That's it.
Interesting. In Filtercopy when you were working, what was your role there and what did you do exactly?
So there is a role called growth ठीक है. अब ऐसी बात है कि ग्रोथ इज़ अ वेरी न्यू रोल इन इंडिया, बट ग्रोथ इज़ अ वेरी फेमस रोल इन सिलिकॉन वैली. वो बाहर से आया हुआ है. ठीक है. लाइक फॉर एन एग्जांपल, द न्यू एज मार्केटर्स इन फेसबुक वेयर कॉल्ड ग्रोथ इंजीनियर्स. ये मार्क का आई वुड से रिवॉल्यूशनरी आइडिया था. वो बंदे ने बहुत कुछ किया है. मतलब ही हैज़ इन्वेंटेड स्टफ एंड उनका आइडिया ये था, लेट्स टेक अ फिजिसिस्ट, teach him creativity and put him into marketing role and he will kill it. And the result was tagging option that Facebook had is a growth inventor wala cheez.
Interesting. Okay.
What tagging function does, there is something called network effect. Network effect is basically this, that if I have to become famous where you tell my name to 5 people, then the best way is I will send you a big cake to your office and what will happen is 10 लोग ऑफिस में पूछेंगे किसने भेजा है, यू विल से सिंधु. फास्टेस्ट वे. ठीक है. बट इफ आई सेंड यू अ पर्सनल नोट, दूसरों को नहीं पता चलेगा. सो इट्स कॉल्ड नेटवर्क इफेक्ट. दिस इज अ 1-to-1 नेटवर्क इफेक्ट. दैट इज 1 to many. Tagging is 1 to many.
Got it.
Because when I give you the option to tag, and you remember people were using myself chilling on the hills were 60 others. मतलब लोगों ने मिसयूज तो किया है.
Correct.
But then you opened up yourself to 60 others that gave you that idea around that. That is marketing. Marketing ने कभी नहीं बोला कि okay, you have to put a standee everywhere and a billboard everywhere to crack it. You can do it via tech.
Can be very simple things like that.
Very simple things via tech. So that's how it started. I joined Pocket Aces because the founder said कि okay, we want to build a growth team. India में ये attempt नहीं हुआ in the content space. And the idea is to put data to build viral systems, processes, to predict virality, decrease a lot of cost and increase the output. That is the very simple definition. हिंदी में अगर बोलूँ बहुत सिंपल भाषा में, सिंपल है. मेरे आने से पहले अगर एक वेब सीरीज़ 1 million व्यूज़ कर रहा था, मेरे आने के बाद कैन आई डिक्रीज द कॉस्ट एंड मेक इट अ 5 million व्यूज़. सिंपल. एंड उसके लिए सीधा मार्केटिंग का दिमाग नहीं लगता है. पीपल कॉल इट ग्रोथ हैकिंग माइंडसेट. आप उल्टे पुल्टे दिमाग वाले लगाते हो उस पर. जुगाड़ू दिमाग लगाते हो उस पर. लाइक रैंडम एग्जाम्पल, कॉन्टेंट सोशल मीडिया मैनेजमेंट और मार्केटिंग इज डिफरेंट दैन कॉन्टेंट क्रिएशन. ठीक है. कॉन्टेंट क्रिएशन इज अ पार्ट ऑफ सोशल मीडिया मार्केटिंग, क्योंकि सोशल मीडिया के अंदर ORM आता है, ऑनलाइन रेपुटेशन मैनेजमेंट, कॉमेंट चेक करना, ये करना वो करना. लेट्स से इफ आई वांट टू ग्रो माई चैनल, वन वे इसकी कॉन्टेंट डालो, और द सेकेंड वे कैन बी लेट्स से मैं कॉन्टेंट को कम कर दूँ और मान लो कि ऑल द पेजेस विथ लेस फॉलोइंग मैं उनके कमेंट पे उनके पिक्चर पे कुछ ऐसा कमेंट लिखूं जहाँ पे दे आर फोर्स टू पिन माई कमेंट, सो आई गेट मोर विजिबिलिटी.
राइट.
ये हुआ उल्टा दिमाग इस पे.
Interesting.
कि ज़रूरी नहीं है मैं बहुत लोगों के नज़र में आऊँ by just creating content. I can do interesting comments also. There is a page on social media called on Instagram called Commenter. जो interesting comments उठाता है उसको picture में डालता है. Have you checked that?
Yeah.
You have checked that?
I know.
It's a pretty big page
Correct.
right now.
Yeah.
You will sometime wonder comments पे कौन page बनाता है.
Correct. Very interesting. Yeah, so if you're saying that this kind of thing didn't exist when you got into it, how did you get into it?
Coffee पे मिले थे मैं और the founder. And there was a company called Loco. So Pocket Aces has actually had is the right word. Filtercopy, Dice Media, Gobble. Gobble is the food channel. Dice Media is the channel which does long form content, web series and everything. Filtercopy was short form. And there was a company called Loco. Loco is a gaming company. Right now Loco is a different entity altogether because काफ़ी बड़ा हो गया. It's a different beast. I had applied for Loco. Then the founder told me, okay, let's meet up over a coffee. मिले. And he pitched the idea on that every moment. कि hey, Loco छोड़, मेरे पास और better plans है. Let me give you a bigger challenge. I have 3 other channels. Can you scale that up? Second, I want to create 2 new channels. Can you scale that up from scratch? वही story थी.
These are YouTube channels you're talking about?
No, the YouTube plus Instagram plus Snapchat plus Facebook plus launching ShareChat, Moj, जहाँ पे खोल सकते हो. So a growth का function is not one. Growth का function is to identify, should I increase my efforts on Facebook? Output ज़्यादा आएगा. Or should I increase my efforts on Instagram? Output ज़्यादा आएगा. Or should I not do anything on Facebook and Instagram and create more new channels on newer platforms like Chingari, Moj and everything to analyze those stuff from an output perspective. Growth ka function, growth mentality is asking yourself when you have a big channel, let's say, asking yourself, can I scale my channel from 1 million to 2 million? or should I be okay with 1 million and launch another channel? So your Thagesh has 2 channels. One is a Thagesh, one is Thagesh Unfiltered. Good strategy, killer strategy. Because every content creator knows that the plateau hits after a certain point.
There's a saturation point.
There is a saturation. Now saturation दो type का है actually primarily. One saturation is algorithmic saturation, one saturation is audience saturation. See, you are a subset of the Bollywood industry. मेरा तो मानना ये है. बॉलीवुड इंडस्ट्री में अगर नवाजुद्दीन सिद्दीकी साइक्लिकली आ सकता है जा सकता है, आप कुछ भी नहीं हो. As simple as that. Are they relevant? They have to invest to stay relevant.
Right.
In PR. छोटे मोटे रोल्स ढूंढो बैठ के.
पापराजी को बुलाओ घर के बाहर. There is nothing wrong in that, but they have to do that. ठीक है, आपको भी करना पड़ेगा उसको. वो PR से कर रहे हैं, आप कुछ अलग से कर रहे होगे. Right.
But the point is there is always a period. तो अभी भुवन मैम के कुछ भी पॉडकास्ट देखोगे, ही गिव्स अ सिग्नल की एग्जिस्टेंशियल क्राइसिस का. सुना है?
करेक्ट. या
ही गिव्स दैट फीलिंग कि
करेक्ट
नहीं यार मूवीज करना है, मैं वर्टिकल वीडियोस क्यों करूं. एक्चुअली मतलब अगर आप प्योर कंटेंट के पर्सपेक्टिव से देखोगे ना, ही इज व्हाट इज डू टेलिंग इज द वॉइस ऑफ अ लॉट ऑफ क्रिएटर्स.
Bhuvan Bam, he is a true creator, but he's not a marketer, I would say.
हाँ, और a distributor, correct.
His creativity is mind blowing, but then he's not the guy that focuses on the number of how do I increase the number of views.
True.
Should I put this thumbnail? Should I put that title? And that is what he also talks about in his podcast, right?
See, why I relate with Bhuvan Bam in that podcast, so
this you're talking about the Raj Shamani podcast?
I'm talking about the Raj Shamani podcast. Raj Shamani's podcast is the only podcast जहाँ पे उसने खुल के बोला है about vulnerability, but honestly on तन्मय भट्ट वाला podcast देखना. It's a very dark podcast, but very realistic podcast. मतलब उसने ये तक बताया हुआ है वहाँ पे कि मैं ये प्रोफेशन में इसलिए नहीं आया था बिकॉज आई हैव टू बी बिग. आई वॉज डूइंग इट फॉर द फन ऑफ द क्राफ्ट. उसके लिए हेंस आई एम एबल टू रिलेट बिकॉज आई स्टार्टेड म्यूजिक फॉर द फन ऑफ इट. द डे इट बिकेम प्रोफेशन एंड यू हैव टू डिलीवर, उस पर टाइमलाइंस लगते हैं. क्रिएटिविटी गिव्स यू फ्रीडम उस पर, राइट. द डे क्रिएटिविटी डज नॉट गिव यू फ्रीडम, यू स्टार्ट क्वेश्चनिंग योरसेल्फ कि ये लाइन में मैं हूँ क्यों. मैं BPO की नौकरी कर लेता हूँ उस पे. that's what I can pretty much relate with. And hence it's a very weird trap of कि as a social media marketer बोलने में अच्छा लगता है, रोज एक रील करो, ठीक है, but I know for a fact it becomes your job. Then you fall into that trap. Then there will be a time you'll question yourself कि भाई मैं तो आया था क्योंकि ऑफिस से बोर हो गया था, ये तो ऑफिस से भी और खराब है. ऑफिस में भी इतना डेडलाइंस नहीं है, इतना टाइट डेडलाइंस नहीं है.
Correct.
Now some people like it, some people don't. Yeah. But you know Naval Ravikant, right?
Yeah, of course.
Naval Ravikant का एक पॉइंट है, ठीक है. एंड ये पॉइंट पे मुझे लगता है फाइनेंशियल फिनफ्लुएंसर्स कॉन्ट्राडिक्ट. क्या? You will see finfluencers. Have you seen finfluencers saying that you should not rent your time, build a passive income, and blah blah blah. ठीक है. मैं इसमें फिलोसॉफिकली कहाँ पे इनकरेक्ट है बोल रहा हूँ. और मैं नवल रविकांत का एक एनालिसिस दे रहा हूँ. इफ एनीवन हैज़ नो आइडिया, प्लीज गूगल एंड रीड अ ट्वीट ऑफ नवल रविकांत कॉल्ड हाउ टू बिकम रिच and famous, or how to become rich, I guess.
So wait, Naval Ravikant is different from the Naval on Twitter, who's really famous on Twitter, right?
Same guy. Full name is Naval Ravikant.
Okay.
Same guy.
Got it.
He said a very interesting quote that when you start aging, you have more responsibilities and more baggages. You will not have the luxury of renting out your time, because your time will have to go into someone else, like your son, your daughter, your wife. Your parents are getting older and everything. Content creation is the worst place to be in that time. The reason is, one, if I have 5 pimples tomorrow, I will not create. If I don't create, algorithm will penalize me. If algorithm penalize me, मेरे को brand deals नहीं मिलेगा. I can't automate that particular stuff. Like you can say you have a team, but your team needs your face. Face is everything, right?
You have basically summarized my life right now.
हाँ, मतलब.
And I'm guessing that's the life of a lot of content creators. True.
Far better क्या है पता है? Sometimes I feel put up a mascot. Then anyone can wear a mascot. Actually,
exactly.
Marshmallow strategy is something that can scale.
Correct.
उसके अलावा कुछ scale नहीं कर सकता भाई.
Interesting. Very interesting.
You will get older. Sometimes you will be sick.
Create a channel, wear a mask, and then anyone can replace it. Just make your voice something else. Just like how Anonymous makes its videos, right? You don't even know who's behind the.
वो तो robotic voice हो गया. वो robotic voice हो गया. But हाँ, that is better. Or do that. Ranveer Alavadia has a different channel na, called Big Brains.
Big Brain Co.
Now Big Brains Co is trying to create a brand on Big Brain, and face are different. But there is a problem also. A face brand scales faster than a brand actually.
Exactly. And that's been our conflict at Barely Opinionated also, because right now I'm the face of Barely Opinionated. But to move away from being an influencer or a individual content creator to a media company, you need to have multiple faces.
But the exact same is faced by everyone. The same thing. The moment you open a media company, you have a person on payroll. Let's say I'm on your payroll.
Correct.
Then technically, I am taking salary.
Correct.
Plus, you are investing in me to make my name.
Correct.
अब मैं छोड़ के गया.
When the person becomes bigger than the brand,
Exactly.
that's when the problem comes.
And ये होता है.
बहुत
Person always becomes larger than the brand.
Yes.
Enough example, will not name anyone, but everyone has done that.
No, one I think we can name, and she's Rituj's favorite also. So there's this Vion News. Have you heard of Vion News? So there's Palki what?
Palki
Sharma. She was the face of Vion and everyone loved her.
She left. I guess she's joining something else. First post,
Yeah, she started with First Post. So, and I know a lot of people that are disheartened, including...
But journalists can't do anything.
This man here, yeah.
Journalists can't do anything. वो तो है ही. But...
Same thing with Arnab Goswami.
Same thing with Arnab Goswami.
He left Times Now. Times Now is struggling to sort of reach those numbers. And
hence, media business is very hard. Super duper hard. Media business is hard. Again, another use case I'll just tell you. Realistic use case. There are 5 content writers. Content writers go to a company not to write branded content. Because they say कि अरे ये branded content में कुछ ये नहीं है. Brand 1000 चीज़ करेगा and then the content will look diluted. There is no creativity. If you don't do branded content, your revenue will not come. You will not pay salaries. If you increase the branded content, these people leave. They'll say, okay, no fun.
Correct.
It's a double trap.
Yeah.
Every time.
Correct.
All the CEOs face this problem, and when they get older, they're like, okay, I'm taking a retirement and doing something else. So.
Okay, so I want to go back to what we were talking about. So you spoke a lot about different things that people can do in terms of growth. How did you learn all of these things? Did you take like a master class, or did you just sit and figure out on your own?
There is nothing on YouTube or nothing on online sources. I don't know why, but I think it should not be there also. When I started 2018,
wouldn't you want to make a course on it if there's nothing on it?
I teach viral marketing on Growth School, but see, these are very nuanced things. Like I'll tell you an example. I teach the engineering and formulation process side of that. How do you read a retention data? How do you read data and see okay, if there is a jump on this graph, that means people are sharing that content, and hence you should cut that piece of content and put out a reel on that. So I teach the formal side, but the question comes whenever I do that cohort is, I have a restaurant business, what can I do? Now, then you take a consulting wala thing. The point is, these are very nuanced questions. You can't teach it. You can't put out a blog.
It's very subjective yourself.
Very subjective. It depends on, let's say you may not have technical know-how. You may not have a videographer. Not everyone has the luxury of videographer. You are in metro, you will get great editors.
Right.
I come from a city called Cuttack. There are not great editors. I can't do great editing like a Think School does or someone else does. Then वहाँ पे मैं कभी भी company नहीं बना सकता and everything. So that's why it's a very nuanced thing. Depends on your budget, depends on your team strength, depends on what your brand stands for, depends on what you want to achieve. It is not mandatory that okay, if a brand puts out reels, they will get more sales.
Right.
It is not mandatory. There are other ways to do sales and everything. But yeah, that's why I feel you can't do, and hence there's a word called first principle thinking, which is nothing but ki you figure out, you look at the problem, break those problem down, experiment, run experiment, be bold, fail hua, and then you figure it out.
Got it.
That's the growth culture. Growth culture is run 50 experiments per week, per 2 weeks. 40 it will fail, but do jeetega. And that's how you'll learn. That's how I learned.
Understood.
I learned YouTube SEO via that. I learned how to read retention graph via that. Currently, there are some resources you can still figure it out. But like I'm pretty sure you are also learning every time.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
कौन सा podcast चलेगा, podcast का entry sequence क्या करें.
काफी कुछ सीखा है in the last 2.5 years in terms, and it's been on the job. It's not something that has been taught to me.
Correct. But can you ever find कि okay how to promote a podcast? Yes, maybe, but those are see
it's
everyone
generic advice.
Very generic, like,
and it doesn't apply.
It doesn't. Like also, I have a problem with generic actually. I'm okay with generic, but I'm not asking for basic. जो already पता है, generic और basic में difference है.
Correct. That's also true.
इतना basic like
कभी-कभी तो like I watch some videos and I'm like, what is the shit? Like it's utter crap.
Yeah.
And people are watching it, and because there are a lot of people that want to get into it, right? People are watching it and getting influenced by it, but it's actually not anything helpful when I see it from like an experience point of view.
True. Yeah. I have a say on experience in 2023. It is different than 2021. I was speaking your words during that time. Right now, मेरा ना point बहुत simple है कि let's say before even I say कि okay आपका ना video में aesthetic सही नहीं है, मज़ा नहीं आ रहा है, I will simply ask कि tell me your retention. If you say 50% ना, I will not say anything. That's it. If it is working for you and see video में views matter नहीं करता. Retention matters. It doesn't matter 1 million people are watching it. What matters is 50,000 people are watching till the end.
Till the end, yes.
That's it. Agar if that is happening, I have nothing to say. You put Spider-Man in the background or you do Nanga dance, nothing works. And Nanga dance always works. That's a different thing. But retention is king.
Key. I know that a lot of big YouTubers have come to you for growth related stuff. Is there anyone that you've worked with personally who you have helped with their social media and stuff?
I have worked in different capacities with some folks, some YouTube channels, some local channels.
Can you name drop any of them?
Yeah, so I won't name drop because when you work with big LinkedIn influencers or whosoever, they ask you to be behind anonymous. The face. They ask you to be anonymous because the primary reason is the day you say, like let's say ghost writers को ghost क्यों कहते हैं? Because they can't show themselves. Na, imagine if a big CEO tells कि okay, she writes my content, you are gone.
Then you're gone.
You are gone.
Correct.
So that's also the reason I decided कि okay, I will not work with any large influencers for content because it's your job. That's it.
Right.
And I have ethical issues with that. I will not give my words to another person. What I have worked is consulting around a creator opening up a business, consulting around creator launching an app, and I feel Vernacular has a lot of power.
Correct.
I've worked with one Vernacular company in Punjab. They create Punjabi. They're like Punjabi Filtercopy, मान लो, ठीक है?
Okay.
And when I worked with them, I was like, the immense potential it has. Why do you want to launch another funny sketch content in Hindi? Why can't you do it in Gujarati? Why can't you do it in other mother tongue? Right. Some areas have privilege to get more revenue. Like for an example, मैं ओडिया में करूँगा नहीं आएगा money because that city does not have a lot of brands to pay you.
It doesn't have purchasing power as well, I'm guessing.
It doesn't have purchasing power, so your CPMs will not be that high. Your AdSense will not make enough money, and hence it does not make business sense.
Correct.
But Marathi will work for sure. Gujarati will work for sure. You can create that content.
Right.
So my view is anyone who is pissed out of the office ka job and wants to create a content, majority of India comes from tier 2, tier 3, but living in tier 1. I think they should go back to the roots and try to crack in Vernacular because one, it will scale massively because competition is less. Second, यार कुछ नया देखने को मिलेगा. It's done and dusted. Any channel you create in Hindi and English, there is always a kind of stuff.
But I feel like Hindi is still doing well. Like
Hindi is still doing well.
English, I feel is exhausted now, but Hindi is still doing well.
English, I heard an interesting YouTube. Actually, I would like to know your perspective on this. कुछ दो महीना हो गया. I saw a YouTube channel. नाम नहीं याद आ रहा. He said this. Actually, in India, शायद. If you do pure English, then technically English is a worldwide language.
Correct.
Do you want to fight with the universal audience and the competition is even larger? One. Second, he told a very interesting insight. If you add Hindi in your English here, you are giving a signal to the algorithm that you are inside India. If you do just English, you are giving a signal to the algorithm that hey, you can show to global audience. that's where it starts diluting, because maybe you are speaking in English but you're talking about Indian context, which will not be understood by an US. But US वाला video यहाँ पे चलता है,
correct,
वहाँ पे.
correct.
Hence you will see this movement where everyone became Hindi. Ankur Warikoo becoming Hindi, Ranveer Alabadia becoming Hindi. It makes absolute sense.
Correct. Now the thing here is that when you do it in English, right? And I've tried that. So I started primarily in English because I didn't have a lot of knowledge about it. I was still learning that time. And then I slowly realized that if I do it in Hindi or at least English, I'm able to attract a much larger audience, higher views, etc. etc.
Is it working for you?
It worked. So if you see, like I think 3-4 weeks back only, we put out a bunch of English videos. In terms of views, we got more. It was almost double the views that we usually get average.
Correct.
But if you saw our comment section, everyone was shitting on us. Everyone was like,
why?
Because we have come to your channel for English content. We do not want English content on your page. Why are you speaking in Hindi?
That's
because there is a good chunk of population that doesn't understand Hindi also.
Correct.
And those are the people that are coming to pages like Barely Opinionated to get their content. Now,
Got it.
when they are coming with the expectation that yes, this man is going to deliver content in English and I want to listen to this man in English, when I suddenly change to say English, they feel...
I got it.
They feel like they feel betrayed.
Got it.
So it just depends on what are you establishing from the beginning. And see, the idea is that you spoke about US related content. US content, US is a global brand. Everyone is interested in the US. Right. And that is what is going to is happening with India now. India is becoming a global brand where everyone is interested in India, which wasn't the case until recently. Right. And I feel like all Indian related topics, like for example, you talk about like the Cold War and everything like that, people are interested in it, although India has not much relation to it in terms like in political sense it is.
Right. You did one video on Cold War, right?
Not on Cold War, but something on those lines itself.
Right.
But yeah, like when you talk about such topics, people are interested, right? US related. That is, as far as I understand, that is what is going to happen with India, where people are going to be interested. People around the world are going to be interested in why did the Kargil war happen? Why is there an issue between India and Pakistan? Why is Kashmir such a disputed area? Why is Bangladesh broken, etc., etc.
Got it.
Which is why creating this content in English will give you more chance of being recognized globally rather than restricting yourself geographically. Of course, that's just a prediction that I feel is happening trend-wise, and I feel this is going to happen. But again, it can be wrong. What is proving right now is Hindi content is box.
Right, correct. But I remember Vinamra Kasana on some podcast said that, okay, I'm suddenly getting a lot of views from other countries, Vietnam and all. I don't remember the country's name exactly, but he was mentioning that particular pad. That is nothing but YouTube testing, okay, where it can work. But that is happening.
Correct.
Happening.
And Indians are everywhere. Like if you look at the number of NRIs, everywhere.
True.
1.4 billion लोग हैं यार, मतलब कितने.
मुझे वर्नाकुलर में एक लगता है कि अगर आप पंजाबी कंटेंट बनाए ना तो वो ग्लोबल है. वो नेक्स्ट लेवल ग्लोबल है.
That's true. कनाडा में बहुत चलता है.
वो अलग लेवल चलता है. I have seen Punjabi NRI channels talking about Punjabi NRI वाला thing and next level चल रहा है.
Mad.
क्योंकि that is relatable for Punjabi NRIs.
Exactly.
And aspirational for Indian Punjabis. तो दोनों के लिए चल जाता है.
Correct. Very interesting. But I feel vernacular में फिर वो एक plateau बहुत जल्दी आ जाएगा. I feel. क्योंकि
True. But अच्छा, मेरा plateau का point बहुत simple है कि we have to go away from this mentality कि 10 मिलियन हिट करना है पहला. Simple. ठीक है. 10 मिलियन is not the game. What I feel is तो मेरा ना कंटेंट ऑन लिंक्डइन ऑन इंस्टाग्राम पे सिमिलर अप्रोच है कि गो स्टैगर्ड वे का मतलब है 10,000 ऑडियंस का 0.1% अगर पेइंग ऑडियंस है, वो मुझे किसी भी चीज़ के लिए अगर पे कर रहा है, मैंने 10,000 का मार्क क्रॉस कर लिया. ठीक है. दैट 1 मिलियन अप्रोच इज़ अ सोशल नेटवर्किंग अप्रोच कि बहुत भीड़ इकट्ठा करो तब ऑडियंस पैसा देगा. देर इज़ अ बिग फ्लॉ इन दैट अप्रोच मुझे लगता है. पहला, योर अपॉर्चुनिटी कॉस्ट इज़ वेरी हाई. आपको एक साल वेट करना पड़ेगा करने के लिए. बट जनरली क्रिएटर्स डोंट कैलकुलेट एक साल मैंने कितना लॉस किया. अभी इसमें फन फैक्ट क्या है, ये फिनेंशियल्स का. ऑल द क्रिएटर्स हो जाके बोलते हैं कि मेरे को महीने का मिलता है 1 करोड़. ठीक है. अब वो चक्कर ये है, वो 1 करोड़ कमाने के लिए तो 2 लाख 2 साल का इन्वेस्टमेंट लगा. वो इन्वेस्टमेंट को अगर ऑफसेट करोगे देन आपके फिनेंशियल्स है कि और खींचेंगे. सो दैट इज़ नॉट प्रॉफिट, दैट इज रेवेन्यू. बट आपने जो माइनस किया है ना 2 साल का, जो नेगेटिव में चल रहा था, वो आपने गिना नहीं उस पर.
करेक्ट.
नाउ नॉट एवरीवन कैन स्टे फॉर 2 years. व्हाट आई फील इज 2 साल नेगेटिव में जीना इज अ प्रिविलेज. सिंपल. You have less baggage, or whatever.
You're from a good family background.
You're from a good family background. That is good. That is a good privilege. But it makes no financial sense to me at least. तो सबके अलग अलग अप्रोचेस हैं. Like I have heard Ankur Wali को saying a very different thing. What he said is बड़ा बनो तब जाके चार्ज करो, so that your charging amount can be big. ठीक है यार. मुझे लगता है अगेन इट्स अ प्रिविलेज बैकग्राउंड. आपके पास जब एफडी में पड़ा होता है ना पैसा, तो आप ये बेट ले सकते हो. सिंपल. या अगर आपके बैंक अकाउंट में पैसे हैं, लेट्स से आई एम वन इज यस, इफ यू रिटायर प्रिटी गुड एंड यू आर फाइनेंशियली फ्री, आप ये कर सकते हो. देयर आर वीसीज बाहर के जो रिटायर होके कंटेंट क्रिएशन कर रहे हैं. शान इज अ प्रिटी फेमस वीसी. डू दैट कोई इशू नहीं. मतलब मैं तो फुल टाइम जाऊँगा आफ्टर जिस दिन अकाउंट में 1 करोड़ हो गया, आफ्टर इन्वेस्टमेंट्स, आफ्टर ऑल डेट फ्री लोन, मैं जा रहा हूँ कंटेंट क्रिएशन. फुल टाइम कंटेंट क्रिएशन. बट दैट विल बी नॉट फॉर मनी. मे
it's for passion, it's for just being relevant. I would say
there is a very thin line between passion and validation. कभी कभी समझ नहीं आता है कि किसको फॉलो कर रहे हैं.
That's true.
कभी कभी बिल्कुल समझ नहीं आता. You start for passion, then you get
continue
into the
for
trap.
validation.
You continue for validation, and that's being.
But validation is your motivation to continue.
But validation is the motivation.
Yeah.
But उसका side effect ये होता है कि जिस दिन नहीं मिला, then you are demotivated. So you are fully in the control of algorithm. While you are very very aware कि 1 साल बाद आप obsolete हो जाओगे. So you have to constantly keep on reinventing.
Got it.
But you started the content not to keep on reinventing. So it's just a cycle.
Interesting.
Very dark cycle. Very very dark cycle.
Interesting. Can you tell me a little bit about like you take care of growth on apps as well, now, right? Can you tell me a little bit about things that we as people who are not in the say app building space, we don't know about, and small things that behind the scenes that goes on that helps
On the apps?
On the app that helps you bring retention on the apps, or you
Okay. Got
that helps me say be on the app or open the app. Small things that we don't notice.
Like for an example, okay, सबसे simple है, चालू करते हैं. The app journey looks like this. You are on Facebook, chilling with your friends, watching content. आपको एक ad दिखता है. The first thing is there was at least 10 लोगों का दिमाग to figure out कि आपको ऐसा क्या ad दिखे कि आप वहाँ पे सब काम छोड़ के रुक जाओगे. Let me tell you how an exact day looks like. आप ऑफिस जाते हो या आप स्कूल जाते हो. After you come back, the reason you launch any app is just to chill.
Correct.
Not to watch ad.
Correct.
Not to install an app. ठीक है. And I'm just staying on a very macro scale. And it sometimes sounds very dark. What people like me do, and I'm part of the ecosystem, is then that means there is someone who has more brains than you, जिसका दिमाग इतना है कि इंडिया का बेस्ट कंपनी का सीईओ को भी रोक के बोले कि ये ऐड देख एंड क्लिक कर. ठीक है. एंड देयर इज अ वेरी फेमस एंड डार्क सेइंग दैट वर्ल्ड्स बेस्ट माइंड आर फोकसिंग ऑन ओनली वन मेट्रिक कॉल्ड क्लिक्स. कोई एग्रीकल्चर फिक्स नहीं कर रहा है, पूरी दुनिया मिलकर फिक्स कर रही है क्लिक्स को. क्लिक्स कैसे बढ़ानी है. कंटेंट क्रिएटर्स वही कर रहे हैं.
Our life revolves
around clicks. So you get that. पूरा गेम वहीं पे चालू हो गया. तो बैकग्राउंड सीन में क्या है कि देयर इज़ अ बिग टीम हु विच सिट्स, फिगर्स आउट कि ओके 3 सेकंड में ऐसा क्या देखें कि वो बंदा रुकेगा. 3 सेकंड बाद क्या दिखाएं कि वो बंदा कन्विंस होगा. उसके 10 सेकंड बाद क्या दिखाएं कि वो बंदा देख के ही विल और शी विल जनरेट ट्रस्ट एंड ही विल क्लिक एंड गो टू प्ले स्टोर. प्ले स्टोर में ऐसा क्या कॉपी राइटिंग लिखें दैट ही और शी विल इंस्टॉल. Then after you install, there are screens. You call it walkthrough screens, onboarding screens, registration screens and everything. The challenge is installs to registration में drop-offs बहुत होते हैं. Because let's say आपको ad दिखा कि it's realistically वो marriage app था, but आपको ad में दिखा it's a dating app. तो आपने dating सोच के install किया. फिर ओपन करते हुए बोल दिया उसने कि यहाँ पे शादियाँ होती है, यू विल ड्रॉप ऑफ. एक्सपेक्टेशन वर्सेस रियलिटी मिसमैच. सो योर जॉब इज़ कि ओके उसको पहले फिक्स करो,
एक्सपेक्टेशन सेट अच्छे से करो.
फिर उसके बाद यू डिसाइड कि ओके पुश नोटिफिकेशन कहाँ पे देना चाहिए, कितना देना चाहिए, क्या बोलूँ पुश नोटिफिकेशन पे इट विल वर्क एंड एवरीथिंग. फ्लो क्या रहेगा. Everyone has a different flow. Maybe there are some apps where if you onboard, you will see a different screen. If I onboard, I'll see a different screen altogether. Dynamic screens कहते हैं उसको.
Okay.
Pricings are dynamic. If you have an Apple app, you will see a different price. I have an Android app, I'll see a different price. I have a Google Pixel, I'll see a different price. I have a Huawei, I will see a different price.
Interesting.
I live in US, I'll see a different price. I'm an NRI living in US, different price उस पे. मेजॉरिटी ऑफ ये बिहेवियरल साइंस साइकोलॉजी ये होती है कि अच्छा किसको कितना प्राइस दिखाएं. देर इज़ अ प्रिटी इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग ऑल्सो. अगर आप गूगल सर्च एड से आए हुए हो, देर इज़ अ वेरी हाई चांस ऑन सम वेबसाइट्स यू विल सी अ डिफरेंट प्राइस. अगर आप एक ऐड देख के आए हो फेसबुक से, आपको एक अलग प्राइस दिखेगा. रीज़न क्या है? गूगल सर्च पे आप खुद ढूंढ रहे थे, गूगल पे जाके आप खुद कुछ ढूंढ रहे थे.
That means you have a need for
That
it.
means you have a need for it. So I should be
pricing
charging
will
you
be
high.
high.
Exactly. Best use case, airlines. Best use case. There is a hack that you keep on seeing कि okay, incognito पे खोलो, airlines का price देखो.
Correct.
And then in next 5 minutes you have to do it.
Correct.
अगर lose किया तो फिर price बढ़ जाता
Price
है.
बढ़ जाएगा.
देखो सिंपल सी बात है कि आपको क्या लग रहा है, जो आप दिमाग लगा रहे हो ना, आपका जो रूममेट है वो आपका वो एक टेकी होगा. वो जो चला रहा है ना उसको ये अच्छे से पता है कि इंडिया में लोग बैठ के इनकॉग्निटो पे कर रहे हैं. सो यू कांट मैनिपुलेट द सिस्टम बिकॉज आपसे भी मतलब धुरंधर लोग बैठे हुए हैं, लॉट स्मार्टर, बिकॉज दे डू द सेम थिंग इन द. आपको नेटफ्लिक्स को पता नहीं था कि पासवर्ड वाला चीज.
I'm surprised they didn't know and they are only making things now.
They are making things now. No, they were like, we are solving for network effect. The moment we stop it, our revenue will fall and app install will fall. आदत डलवा देते हैं, फिर चार्ज कर लेंगे. जियो किसी को किसने जाके ट्वीट पे बोला था कि जियो का प्राइस बढ़ा? कोई नहीं बोला. पेट्रोल का प्राइस एक रुपये बढ़ेगा, पूरा इंडिया हड़ताल करेगा. That's the funny part of आदत.
Correct.
उस पे कि people are more addicted to data than petrol. Sometimes very very scary but very interesting actually.
Very very interesting. Nice. So okay, so that's about like the app side of it. But then when you look at like how these startups are actually building themselves, you have worked with a lot of startups as well, like in terms of consulting them, helping other founders and stuff like that. When you look at the idea or the reasoning behind say solving a problem, that's what startups are meant for, right? Solving a particular problem, correct? Ab agar what is the mindset that people actually go with when they are trying to solve a problem? The founders. Is it do you see more of ki they actually want to solve a problem, or do you see more of ki it's just about making the money and just getting out?
See, there is nothing wrong in everything. We are like I have a simple belief that you are playing the capitalistic game. If you have to okay, तो या तो आप सोशलिस्टिक गेम खेलो कि मेरे को प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करना है, बट यू हैव टू बिकम अ कैपिटलिस्ट एट सम टाइम अगर आप बिजनेस रन कर रहे हो. सो इट इज कैपिटलिस्टिक फर्स्ट, पैकेज्ड एज सोशलिस्ट. सिंपल. तो इट स्टार्ट्स विथ अ नीड एंड देन आप नीड से फिगर आउट करते हो रेवेन्यू मॉडल बन सकता है नहीं बन सकता. ठीक है. Maybe there is a lot of times where you will not figure out a revenue model and that's why startups die. उसमें तो primarily जितना मैंने देखा हुआ है, there are 3 reasonings of starting a startup जितना मैंने देखा हुआ है. One is a very personal कि okay I face this hence I will do this.
Right.
That used to work before but I think that's a big blunder. ठीक है. Without there should be some proxy की मार्केट को नीड है. मुझे नीड है कि कॉफ़ी और थोड़ी ठंडी होनी चाहिए, तो मैं क्या रेफ्रिजरेशन का कंपनी खोल दूँ जो कॉफ़ी पे ठंडा करेगा? कोई सेंस ही नहीं है.
राइट.
एंड दैट्स वाई जब यू गो टू स्टार्टअप पिचेस इन कॉलेजेस. ओह भाई साहब, मतलब
वेरी आइडियलिस्टिक प्रॉब्लम्स दैट दे आर ट्राइंग.
आइडियलिस्टिक बहुत अच्छा बोला कि देयर विल बी अ स्टार्टअप जहाँ पे मेरा बेंच टूटा हुआ है तो मैं बेंच फिक्स करूँगा बैठ के कॉलेज में जाके. ठीक है. एंड उसको एंड द फनी फैक्ट इज majority of startups ideas are SMBs, small business companies.
Right.
But they pitch to VCs like मतलब ये पूरा global जाएगा, ये करेगा वो करेगा. There is a very funny business model जो कभी चल नहीं पाया, पता नहीं क्यों. Second hand का model. Second hand DSLRs को rent करना.
Correct.
And everything.
Correct.
The primary reason ये कभी नहीं चल पाया is in the basic thesis. Ask yourself how many times you will rent it.
It's a very small market.
Very small market. Very small market. Rotation कैसे करोगे उसके अंदर?
Like जैसे because we are in the media game, we have requirements of renting out.
Still you have हफ्ते का एक बार. That's it.
It's not much.
तो बाकी 5 दिन में क्या करूँ?
max.
और कितना ही पैसा दे दोगे उसका?
Correct.
उस पे.
Correct.
तो there used to be companies before. There was a company called Butterfly, MUTT. I don't know what are they doing right now. But मेरी पहली कंपनी पे जब मैं काम कर रहा था उस टाइम पे ये कंपनी चल रही थी. We rented from them. 2 साल बाद कंपनी बंद होगी. तो इनिशियली आइडिया सुनने में मज़ा आ रहा था उस पर. तो दैट इज़ पार्ट 1 कि आपको लग रहा है आपने चिपका दिया. मेजॉरिटी ऑफ स्टार्टअप्स आर लाइक दैट. Uber was like that and everything. ये स्टार्टअप में चीज़ क्या होता है? द फाउंडर नीड्स टू बी वेरी बोल्ड बिकॉज वो उसका आइडिया है. कन्विंसिंग अनदर को फाउंडर, क्योंकि आइडिया सबको नहीं चमकता है. कन्विंसिंग एम्प्लॉयज, कन्विंसिंग द मार्केट, फाइटिंग विद द गवर्नमेंट. यू हैव टू बी मतलब एक्स्ट्रा ऑर्डिनरी. वो मतलब इट्स अ गॉडली फिगर. आई रियली एडमायर दीज फाउंडर्स हु डू दैट. सेकेंड वाला इज डिलीवरी. DELHI very. Delivery folks had a very simple use case that these were Bain & Co founders, consulting background. इन्होंने कहा कि कुछ करना है तो जाके मार्केट में डेटा एनालाइज करो और फिगर आउट करो कहाँ पे प्रॉब्लम है, देन उसको फिक्स करेंगे. दीज आर कंसल्टिंग वाला माइंडसेट. मुझे लगता है ये प्रॉब्लम फिक्सर्स, ये पूरा प्योर प्रॉब्लम फिक्सिंग माइंडसेट है कि लेट्स से यू नॉट स्टार्टिंग अ पॉडकास्टिंग चैनल बट यू फिगरिंग आउट पॉडकास्टर्स को क्या इशू है एंड सिर्फ उसको जाके फिगर आउट करना. एंड उसके पीछे 6 महीने का फाइट जाएगा कि पॉडकास्टर्स को क्या इशू है.
So you're not building just because you have an idea. You're actually trying to figure out what problem someone has and you're trying to solve it.
So problem first, then idea.
Correct.
The first part is idea first and then figure out कि problem है भी या नहीं. अगर निकल गया तो फिर ठीक है, नहीं निकला तो फिर गया.
Got it.
Third part is building a company, selling the company, making a big chunk of money. Serial founders उसको कहते हैं. Again, there is nothing wrong in that. You are making major amount of money उसमें. That has become a business model right now. Okay, build a company like, and ये primarily कब होता है? When in one sector there are giants where you know कि you can't compete. Like let's say Facebook. Anyone who builds social network comes with an idea कि Facebook beat नहीं कर सकते, चांस ही नहीं कर सकते. How will you beat a giant जो Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, WhatsApp own करता है बैठ के and जो सबको खरीदने में तुला हुआ है. So you will be like कि okay, let's build something that Facebook does not have and let's sell it उस पे.
Right.
Best strategy, nothing wrong in that. So primarily ये 3 के अराउंड पे रिवॉल्व करता है. Anything apart from that you are a business owner या जो भी ये टर्मिनोलॉजीज कह लो, मतलब सब ग्रे एरिया है ये टर्मिनोलॉजीज में.
Got it. Do you think Instagram listens to us? Are social media apps listening to us?
If you have a Google phone, रात को जाके say my pet wants food.
नहीं, I'm asking you because this has happened.
Yes, they listen.
We
that's why.
speak about something and उसके बाद
हाँ, मैं इसलिए कह रहा था कि if you want to test it out on a Google phone specifically, मतलब गूगल मतलब कंपनी का नाम नहीं बोला. अच्छा, एंड्रॉइड फोन इज द राइट वर्ड एक्चुअली. कुछ भी कर रहे होगे बस बोल देना कि माय कैट नीड्स अ डॉग कैट फूड और डॉग फूड. कल से देखो आना चालू हो जाएगा एड्स.
कल से भी नहीं, 1 घंटे बाद से
आना चालू हो जाएगा. दैट इज पार्ट 1. पार्ट 2, लेट्स से यू आर शेयरिंग योर अपार्टमेंट विद 3 अदर फोक्स. ठीक है, आपने कुछ बोला है, देयर इज अ वेरी हाई चांस दूसरों को भी दिखेगा बिकॉज IP एड्रेस एंड आपका जो वाईफाई है दैट्स अ शेयर्ड नेटवर्क.
एंड मे बी देयर फोन आल्सो हर्ड व्हाट यू सेड.
हाँ, मतलब सबके ये रिकॉर्डिंग ऑप्शंस ऑन है ना उस पे. सो the point is कि you have given a lot of permissions to an app.
Correct.
And obviously no one is monitoring कौन सा permission कब on है.
Correct.
Like it's always on. It's always on. So yes, your phone keeps on hearing you.
So all the data that is being collected, right? As a growth person yourself, are all of these data being humanly like, is a human sitting and going through all of this data and sort of figuring out things, or is it just based on AI and machine learning models that all
in the data center? See, it is obviously machine learning things happening and everything, but the monitoring of this machine learning is by a human. Now there are policies which restrict people that they cannot look at any other's data. But what I believe is, are they capable? Yes. Does the policies restrict? Yes. नाउ किसी को करना है कर लेगा, वो अलग बात है. मतलब इट्स लाइक दिस ना, मैं अपना ऐप कल को अगर लॉन्च कर दूँ, लेट्स से आई गॉट 50,000 इंस्टॉल्स. अब मुझे पता है कि आई कैन रीड इट
Right.
Can I read it? Yes. Will I read it is up to me. वैसा है. So it's like that.
Okay.
But everyone has something, and marketers and growth marketers, digital marketers, or anyone, we get options to pinpoint and target folks and say कि okay इसके अराउंड पे ad दिखानी चाहिए. You can do pin code targeting. मैं पिन कोड पे डाल के टारगेट कर सकता हूँ. I can do interest targeting कि okay people interest in podcast will see something. I can do there is something called lookalike. कि okay lookalike was a very interesting revolution in technology where let's say I am an events company and I sold 100 tickets. I don't know कि what is the targeting option I should be giving to figure out कि who will buy my ticket. But I know who has bought. So what I will do, I will just upload this Excel sheet and I will say that, hey, find the lookalike of these people. Now, Facebook is so smart. When you give your email address and everything, Facebook has created a character profile of yours.
Correct.
Ki I am interested in Rasgulla, eats this, watches this, sleeps at this time, at this time. That is a character profiling. They look for that character profiling with other folks. And by the way, fun fact, I'm planning to make a reel on this. If you go to your phone, Facebook or Google, go to ads, go to preferences. It will show you how Facebook thinks of your persona.
Oh, interesting.
It shows you half of your persona.
Okay.
You will be surprised that you like there are 20% things that I had no idea that okay, hey, I do this. It also shows you what have you liked, which website you have visited, and everything. It keeps our data, so you can clean it up actually. So if you don't want, like if you are asking yourself ki, okay, why alcohol companies are targeting me, however they can't, but let's say you can go to that particular place and cross it ki I don't want this company to target me.
Right.
So they have given enough power, but no one knows because वो TV पे ad नहीं चला रहे, they are not educating people. But yeah, they have options because the Congress I was actually forcing कि लोगों के हाथ में power दो. But power देने का मतलब ये नहीं लोग करेंगे, लोगों को पता हो ना, वही वाला scene है.
Correct. Very interesting. Okay, one last question that I want to get to is suppose say someone is watching a YouTube video. आज मैं बैठ के I'm watching a YouTube video. In that particular YouTube video, what are the things that can be monetized? Do you get my question?
Got it.
Tell me each and everything for the audience that doesn't understand media. What are the things that are being monetized in that particular video? Of course, वो scale depend
being monetized or can be monetized.
Can be monetized.
Not पहले being monetized बोल देते हैं कि normally what creators monetize.
ठीक है.
Primarily anyone who starts YouTube says कि okay मैं ads YouTube ads से पैसा कमाऊंगा. So YouTube का ads वाला model है, they pay you. One. Second, simple plain model everyone knows, brand deals पे you go.
Right.
Let's talk about brand deals. Brand deals किस type के हो सकते हैं? Either you can integrate a brand in one video. That is one brand. Or you can have multiple brand strategy. Okay, I will integrate 3 brands in one video. It depends on a type of video. If someone is doing a review, which is a long form review, 20 minutes hai, you can put 3 brands. 3 minute के वीडियो में 3 ब्रांड बोलोगे, ब्रांड मारेगा आपको, ब्रांड पैसा नहीं देगा, ब्रांड बोलेगा कि no, I want. You can integrate. This is a pretty interesting thing. How you integrate is your skill.
Right.
Some people do on the face. That never works. Some people do it very, very seamlessly. Very, very subtly. That is the right way. मतलब see, the brand is not paying you for putting up the logo.
Correct.
Brand अलग तरीके से भी कर सकता है. Brand is giving you because brand thinks you are also a creative consultant for me to seamlessly integrate that particular part. That is one. Second, YouTube के नीचे description होता है. Description में brand may ask you or pay you extra पैसा for putting the app का link or website का link or whatever. That is a separate पैसा. ये दोनों primarily monetize होते हैं. इसके अलावा on YouTube और कुछ monetize mass scale में नहीं हो रहा है, ठीक है? And if any creator is listening to this, let me tell out very interesting ways. And this is where the growth hacking mindset comes. Growth hacking mindset is this. जहाँ पे भीड़ है मुझे वहाँ पे नहीं जाना है. And the model is this. I can make 1 lakh by doing one content. I can make 1 lakh by doing 20,000 के 5 piece of content. I have to choose which route is better. Simple. YouTube community post पे आप एक post डाल के उसका निकाल सकते हो cost. Underutilized but very, very high engagement. YouTube community post has very high engagement. That is one part of monetization you can unlock. When you put out a video, first comment you can put, pin it, you can charge the brand for that.
Right.
That is another, because everyone knows description से ज़्यादा clicks तो इसमें आते हैं.
Right.
So then it has to be कि your pin comment you should be charging more, description you should be charging less.
Got it.
उस पे. End screen, you can rent out your end screen also. Let's say if a brand has a YouTube channel, you can say कि here I'll put the end screen for you. The problem is the calculations are very difficult, because then the brand will ask you कि आपके end तक कितने लोग रुकते हैं. 1 million views पे नहीं चलेगा. हाँ. तो फिर आप बोलोगे 50% तो रिटेंशन है मेरा. फिर वो ब्रांड बोलेगा 1 million से तो आधा लोग तो चले गए. अब एंड तक कितने लोग रुकते हैं. दिस इज अ रिटेंशन वॉर.
Right.
End screen wala, but you still can monetize that. Underutilized, no one is primarily doing that. So I'm just giving you this perspective, and more YouTube keeps on adding more and more features. But I feel the creator it's a primary job of the manager to look at these spaces and figure out कि कहाँ पे क्या निकल सकता है उस पे. Because YouTube के video integration is a very competitive property.
Correct.
And it doesn't work for the brand at some point of time. Like let's say मैं अगर सारे वीडियो में इंटीग्रेट करूँ, मतलब one I will look like a sellout. And सबको पता है कि कमेंट्स पे आता है गाली कि भाई खाली ब्रांड पे ब्रांड. वो ठगेश मामार्थ बोल के मतलब
even flying beast मामा.
Even flying beast ठीक है, पैसा मिल रहा है, but think from this perspective.
After a point, the audience also gets exhausted after listening to the
audience
same.
knows थोड़ा आया skip मारो.
Correct.
Audience knows.
Correct.
And
That's true.
if you take one brand and just show ads every time ना, क्या होगा? And you must have realized this. So mind का funny fact क्या है ना, pattern recognize कर लेगा जल्दी. The moment थगेश कुछ भी मतलब ऐसा एक subtle डालेगा ना, आपको पता है मामार्थ आ रहा है, then you start skipping. It doesn't work for the brand. किसी ने तो देखा ही नहीं वो brand को. तो but you could have sold a community post, you could have done a pin comment, come charge करके and everything. Right. So these are the interesting ways, models that you have to keep on thinking.
There's another way, which is product placement, right?
There is a product placement, but वो सबके लिए मतलब
like for example, if someone is, say for example, I'm shooting a YouTube video.
Correct.
I'm on it. I'm wearing a shirt, right? अब मैं shirt किसी brand का भी पहन सकता हूँ, and the brand could be paying I don't have to necessarily talk about the brand. I could just be wearing it.
Correct. उसको मैं as a brand integration का part ही मान ले रहा हूँ, क्योंकि the reason is this कि not every brand, not every influencer will do that, and that is a very high cost, because the reason is this: brand integration 20 seconds आता है बीच में, ये तो पूरा पहन के बैठोगे ना, तो brands generally pay भी नहीं करते, because it's very high cost, very high cost. True. But that is much better subtle वाला चीज. But the objective of just saying this is, there are a lot of ways you can monetize, a lot of things you can monetize. पूरी दुनिया वही दो चीज़ में ख़त्म नहीं होती, AdSense and brand monetization and everything. Like I'm a big believer of building business.
Correct.
Have your own website.
Build your own service, build your own product.
Build your own service, build your own products. Build your own websites, build your own courses, PDFs, everything.
Correct.
Every YouTuber is sitting on massive distribution, which means they can teach. They are the ones should be selling how to be a roasting comedy channel, 500 rupees. You should be charging for that. करो बैठ के.
Correct.
क्यों उस पे ये कर रहे हो? So massive opportunity, but the growth mindset is different.
Interesting. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Sindhu. I think this was a great insight into especially how social media works and how it manipulates our mind, right? I think there's a lot that audience can take away from that. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun, actually. This was fun. Thank you.